Anna Carter's alarm blared at 6 a.m., slicing through the quiet of her Lincoln Park apartment. She silenced it with a practiced swipe, the Chicago skyline barely visible through the pre-dawn haze outside her window. At 32, Anna had clawed her way to project manager at Nextech, a fast-growing tech firm. Her promotion, announced just 2 weeks ago, was the culmination of years of late nights, relentless deadlines, and proving herself in a male-dominated industry. Today was her first major assignment, leading a system overhaul at the company's Seattle branch. She thrived on the challenge, her mind already racing through logistics as she sipped her coffee. Her husband, Jack, was still asleep, his firefighter schedule leaving him exhausted after a 24-hour shift. Anna glanced at him, sprawled across their bed, his steady breathing a reminder of the life they'd built together. At 34, Jack was her rock, dedicated, kind, always ready with a quiet joke to ease her stress. They'd been married for 4 years, their evenings often spent sprawled on the couch, trading stories about her corporate battles and his high-stakes rescues. They dreamed of kids someday, but for now, their careers demanded everything. Anna scribbled a quick note, "Love you, see you tonight," and left it on the counter, her routine farewell before a trip. At O'Hare Airport, Anna met Ethan Brooks, her coworker and travel partner for the Seattle trip. Company policy mandated paired travel for safety and efficiency, and Ethan, 35, was a natural fit. A senior analyst with a knack for breaking down complex systems, he had a disarming charm that made him a favorite at Nextech. His quick grin and easy banter could defuse even the tensest meetings. Anna liked working with him. His wit kept things light, and his sharp insights matched her own drive. They'd only met a few times before, but their prep sessions for this trip had been seamless, their roles clear. Anna led strategy, Ethan handled tech demos. On the flight, they reviewed their presentation, laptops open, voices low but focused. "You sure we're ready for their pushback?" Anna asked, scrolling through her slides. Ethan leaned over, pointing at a chart. "We've got this. You set the vision, I'll handle the tech nerds." His confidence was infectious, and Anna nodded, feeling the familiar buzz of a challenge she was ready to crush. They landed in Seattle by noon. Checked Old Town was a blur of shared laughter and lingering glances, their connection growing stronger with each trip. But for now, it was all business, and Anna was determined to keep it that way. The Seattle branch was a sleek office buzzing with nervous energy. The local team was skeptical about the new system, and Anna's job was to sell it. She stood at the front of the conference room, her voice steady as she outlined efficiency gains. Ethan chimed in with a quick joke about tech gremlins, earning chuckles and easing the room's tension. By the end of the day, they'd won over half the team, a solid start. Exhausted, they grabbed a quick dinner at a nearby diner, sticking to safe topics. Work, the city's rain, Ethan's stories about his 2 kids back in Denver. Anna mentioned Jack's latest rescue, pride in her voice. It was friendly, professional, nothing more. Back at the hotel, Anna collapsed on her bed, her mind replaying the day's small victories. Her phone buzzed, a text from Jack, "Miss you. Knocking dead." She smiled, typing back, "Miss you too. Nailed it today." But as she lay there, a quiet unease settled in. Jack's shifts, system, long shifts, the distance between them growing. She felt it sometimes, the subtle drift, his late nights at the station, her focus on work. Nothing overt, just a faint crack in the foundation of their life together. She pushed the thought aside, focusing on the next day's agenda. Seattle was just the beginning. More trips loomed, and with them, more time with Ethan. For now, though, she was in control, her life exactly where she'd always wanted it to be. Or so she thought. Anna Carter stepped off the plane in Austin, the humid Texas air hitting her like a wall. It was her 3rd trip with Ethan Brooks, and their rhythm as a team had become effortless. Over the past 2 months, they'd tackled Seattle and Denver, rolling out Nextech's new system with precision. Anna, 32, thrived on the challenge, her project manager role cementing her as a rising star. Ethan, 35, matched her pace, his tech expertise, and quick humor smoothing over skeptical branch teams. But today, as they checked into their Austin hotel, Anna felt a shift. Something unspoken lingered in their easy banter. Their first day in Austin was grueling. Back-to-back training sessions, resistant staff, and a glitchy demo that Ethan fixed on the fly. By evening, they were drained but victorious, the local team finally on board. "We earn a break," Ethan said, tossing his laptop bag onto his shoulder. Anna agreed, and they headed to a lively downtown bar, its neon signs buzzing against the night sky. Over tacos and margaritas, their conversation drifted from work to life. Ethan shared a story about his daughter's school play, his voice warm with pride. Anna laughed, picturing his 5-year-old in a lopsided costume. "Jack's been swamped with shifts," she said, stirring her drink. "Sometimes I feel like we're ships passing in the night." Ethan nodded, his gaze steady. "I get it. My wife, Claire, says I'm married to my job half the time." The admission hung between them, raw and unguarded. They ordered another round, the bar's music pulsing around them. Anna felt a flicker of connection, a warmth she hadn't noticed before. She brushed it off, blaming the long day and the tequila. They parted ways at the hotel elevator, professional as ever, but Anna's thoughts lingered on Ethan's easy smile as she unlocked her room. The next trip, in Miami, cranked up the heat, literally and figuratively. The Florida sun was relentless, and the branch team was tougher than expected, pushing Anna to her limit. Ethan, as always, lightened the mood, cracking jokes during a tense Q&A. By the second night, they found themselves at a beachfront bar, the ocean's rhythm in the background. Over mojitos, their talk turned personal again. Anna admitted she missed the early days with Jack, when they'd stay up late dreaming about the future. Ethan leaned closer, his voice low. "Sometimes I wonder if Claire and I forgot how to really talk." His hand brushed hers on the table, a fleeting touch that sent a jolt through Anna. She didn't pull away, though her pulse raced. The moment passed, but left a crack in her resolve. Back in Chicago, Anna threw herself into work, trying to shake the unease. Jack noticed her distraction, asking over dinner if she was okay. "Just tired," she lied, forcing a smile. His firefighter's instincts picked up on her dodge, but he let it slide, kissing her forehead before heading to another shift. Anna hated the lie, but the truth, her growing connection with Ethan, was too messy to face. She told herself it was harmless, just a work friendship. But deep down, she knew better. Their next trip loomed, San Francisco. Anna felt a mix of dread and anticipation. She and Ethan had a system now: divide and conquer during the day, unwind together at night. In San Francisco, the stakes were higher. The branch was Nextech's biggest, and the pressure was on. They nailed the first day, their presentation seamless, the team impressed. That night, they celebrated at a rooftop bar, the city's lights sprawling below. Ethan raised his glass. "To us, the dream team." Anna clinked her glass, laughing, but his gaze held hers a beat too long. The air felt charged, and Anna's heart pounded. She told herself it was just the wine, the city, the thrill of success. But as they shared stories, Ethan's struggles to balance fatherhood, Anna's fear of losing herself and her career, the distance between them shrank. Their knees brushed onto the table, and neither moved away. By the time they called it a night, the line between colleagues and something more was dangerously thin. In a taxi back to the hotel, Ethan's hand rested near hers on the seat. Anna's breath caught, her mind screaming to stop, but her body didn't move. The elevator ride was silent, their reflections sharp in the polished doors. When they reached her floor, Ethan hesitated. "Good night, Anna," he said, his voice soft but heavy with meaning. She nodded, stepping out, her heart racing. Alone in her room, she stared at her phone, Jack's latest text glowing. "Proud of you. Come home soon." Guilt twisted in her gut, but so did something else. Excitement, reckless and unbidden. Anna was standing on the edge, and San Francisco was about to push her over. Anna Carter stood at the front of the San Francisco branch's conference room, her voice steady as she wrapped up the final slide of Nextech's system overhaul presentation. The room buzzed with approval, the branch manager nodding along. At 32, Anna had mastered the art of commanding a room, her project manager role now second nature. Beside her, Ethan Brooks, 35, chimed in with a quick tech clarification, his easy confidence sealing the deal. Their teamwork was flawless, and by the end of the day, the San Francisco team was fully on board. Anna felt the high of victory, but beneath it, a current of tension simmered. Her growing connection with Ethan was no longer just a fleeting thought. That evening, they headed to a rooftop bar overlooking the Bay Bridge, the city's lights glittering like a promise. "We killed it today," Ethan said, raising his wine glass. Anna clinked hers against it, her smile genuine but edged with unease. Their trips, Seattle, Austin, Miami, had built a rhythm. Work hard, unwind together, share stories that grew more personal each time. Tonight, the air felt different, charged with an unspoken pull. Over dinner, Ethan talked about his kids, his voice softening as he described his son's soccer game. Anna shared her worries about drifting from Jack, her firefighter husband, whose long shifts left her feeling alone even when they were together. "Sometimes I don't know who I'm becoming," she admitted, her guard slipping with each sip of wine. The conversation flowed too easily, the wine loosening their restraint. Ethan's hand brushed hers as he passed the breadbasket, and this time, neither pulled away. His gaze lingered, warm and searching, and Anna felt a rush she couldn't ignore. They laughed over a shared joke, but the laughter faded into a quiet intensity. When the bar announced last call, they weren't ready to end the night. "One more drink," Ethan suggested, nodding toward the hotel's lounge. Anna hesitated, her mind flashing to Jack's last text. "Miss you. Be safe." But the pull of the moment was stronger, and she nodded. In the lounge, the soft jazz and dim lighting blurred the edges of their restraint. They sat close, knees touching under the table. Ethan confessed how his marriage to Claire felt like a checklist. Kids, house, routine, but no spark. Anna admitted she felt invisible sometimes, even with Jack's love. The words came too easily, each confession pulling them closer. When Ethan's hand covered hers, warm and deliberate, Anna's breath caught. She didn't move, the world narrowing to that single point of contact. "We should go," she whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. The elevator ride to their floor was silent, the air thick with unspoken desire. At her door, Anna fumbled with her keycard, Ethan standing too close. "Good night," he said, but his eyes said something else. In a reckless heartbeat, Anna opened the door, and he followed. The door clicked shut, and the line they'd danced around for weeks was crossed. No words, just a cascade of touches and hurried breaths. The night blurred into a haze of wine and regret, unstoppable until it was done. Morning hit like a cold slap. Anna woke to a pounding headache, and Ethan already dressing, his movements frantic. "This was a mistake," he muttered, avoiding her gaze. "A huge mistake." Anna sat frozen, the weight of what they'd done crushing her. Shame burned through her as Ethan grabbed his phone and left without another word. Alone, she pieced herself together, each movement heavy with guilt. The mirror reflected a stranger, her life unraveling in a single night. Back in Chicago, Anna tried to bury it. She hugged Jack tightly, his warmth a painful reminder of her betrayal. "You okay?" he asked, sensing her distance. "Just tired," she lied, forcing a smile. But the lie festered, eating at her. At work, Ethan avoided her, his usual charm replaced by curt nods. Anna threw herself into reports, hoping work could drown the guilt. Then, a week later, everything shattered. Jack's phone rang during dinner, his face paling as he listened. He hung up, his voice low and sharp. "That was Claire, Ethan's wife. She found your texts." Anna's stomach dropped, her world tilting. "Is it true?" Jack asked, his eyes piercing. Tears spilled as Anna nodded, words tumbling out. Apologies, excuses, the truth she couldn't hide. Jack's silence was worse than anger, his trust in her broken. "I need you to leave," he said, his voice cold. Anna's life, once so certain, lay in ruins, exposed by a single reckless night. Anna Carter stood in the doorway of her Chicago apartment, her suitcase heavy in her hand. The city's evening hum filtered through the open window, but inside, silence pressed down like a weight. Jack, her husband of 4 years, sat on the couch, his firefighter's frame rigid, his eyes fixed on the floor. "You need to leave," he repeated, his voice steady but cold, each word a blade. At 32, Anna had built a life she thought was unbreakable. Project manager at Nextech, a loving marriage, dreams of a family. But one reckless night with her coworker Ethan in San Francisco had shattered it all. Exposed by Ethan's wife, Claire, Anna's betrayal now lay bare, and Jack's trust was gone. She tried to speak, to beg for a chance to explain, but Jack raised a hand. "Don't. Just go." His calm was worse than anger, a wall she couldn't breach. Anna nodded, tears burning her eyes, and dragged her suitcase out. The door clicked shut behind her, locking away the life she'd known. She drove to a small studio apartment she'd found online, the only place she could afford on short notice. Alone, she sat on the bare mattress, the reality of her actions sinking in. Guilt gnawed at her, relentless, as she replayed the night with Ethan, the wine, the confessions, the moment she let desire override everything. At Next Tech, the fallout spread. Ethan, 35, had requested a transfer to the Denver branch, vanishing from the Chicago office without a word. Anna overheard whispers in the break room, colleagues piecing together rumors about their trip. Her reputation, once sterling, now carried a shadow. She buried herself in work, churning through reports and meetings, but her focus frayed. During a presentation, she stumbled over numbers, her mind flashing to Jack's devastated face. Her boss pulled her aside, voice firm. "Get it together, Anna. We're counting on you." But the pressure only deepened her isolation. Jack, meanwhile, leaned on his firefighting crew. Anna learned through a mutual friend that he'd started counseling, determined to rebuild. His strength, once a comfort, now haunted her. She'd hurt the one person who'd always had her back. She tried texting him a halting apology, but his reply was curt. "I need space." The divorce papers arrived a week later, clinical and final. Anna signed them, her hand trembling, each signature a step further from the life they'd planned. She didn't fight for the apartment or assets. She just wanted it over, as if finality could ease the ache. Nights were the hardest. Anna lay awake, replaying every choice that led to this. The San Francisco bar, Ethan's hand on hers, the moment she didn't stop. She avoided bars now, even coffee shops, anywhere that might remind her of that night. Work became her only anchor, but even there, she felt like an imposter. A new project required another trip, and panic gripped her at the thought of traveling with a colleague. She requested solo assignments, but her boss denied it, citing policy. "You'll manage," he said, unaware of the weight behind her hesitation. Anna tried reaching out to Ethan, hoping for closure, but his number was disconnected. A coworker mentioned he'd taken leave, citing personal reasons. Claire, his wife, had cut ties too, leaving Anna with no one to share the burden. She considered therapy, but couldn't bring herself to voice her shame aloud. Instead, she filled her evenings with mindless tasks, organizing files, jogging along Lake Michigan until exhaustion dulled her thoughts. But the guilt followed, a shadow she couldn't outrun. One evening, scrolling through social media, Anna saw a photo from a mutual friend, Jack at a barbecue, laughing with his crew. His smile, once reserved for her, now belonged to a new chapter. The sight stung, but also sparked something, anger at herself, a resolve to face her mistakes. She deleted the app, cutting off the temptation to dwell. At work, she pushed harder, volunteering for tougher projects, as if efficiency could redeem her. But during a late-night meeting, a colleague's casual mention of trust hit like a punch. Anna excused herself, retreating to the bathroom, where tears came unbidden. Months passed, and the divorce finalized. Anna moved into a smaller apartment, her life stripped to essentials. She avoided dating, unable to trust herself with intimacy. Jack, she heard, was healing, surrounded by friends and purpose. Anna envied his strength, but knew she had to find her own. The woman she'd been, confident, driven, certain of her path, was gone. In her place was someone new, raw and uncertain, grappling with the cost of a single night. The road ahead was unclear, but Anna knew one thing. She couldn't hide from her choices any longer. The fallout had broken her, but it also forced her to confront the truth, and that was where her fight to rebuild would begin. Anna Carter jogged along Chicago's lakefront trail, the early morning breeze sharp against her skin. 2 years had passed since her life unraveled, since that reckless night in San Francisco with her coworker Ethan Brooks shattered her marriage to Jack. At 34, Anna was no longer the polished project manager at Next Tech, her once steady world of promotions and plans replaced by a quieter, more introspective existence. The divorce, finalized 18 months ago, had left her in a sparse studio apartment, her days now shaped by a new purpose, one she'd carved out through hard-won lessons. After Jack asked her to leave, Anna had spiraled, burying herself in work to numb the guilt. But the whispers at Next Tech, the fractured focus, and the weight of her betrayal wore her down. 6 months post-divorce, she made a choice. She quit her high-pressure job. The decision was terrifying. She defined herself by her career, but it was also liberating. She took a role at a Chicago nonprofit, managing community tech programs for underserved youth. The pay was lower, the stakes different, but the work grounded her. Teaching kids to code, watching their faces light up with pride, gave her a sense of worth she'd never found in corporate victories. Therapy became her lifeline. At first, Anna resisted, too ashamed to voice her mistakes. But a late-night breakdown, alone in her apartment, pushed her to make the call. Week after week, she unpacked her choices, the drift from Jack, the pull toward Ethan, the night she crossed a line. Her therapist didn't judge, instead guiding her to understand the void she tried to fill. "You can't change the past," she said, "but you can own it." Anna clung to that, learning to face her guilt without letting it define her. At the nonprofit, Anna thrived in ways she hadn't expected. She built curriculums, secured grants, and mentored teens who reminded her of her younger self, driven but searching. Her colleagues respected her work ethic, unaware of the ghost she carried. Ethan had long since vanished, his transfer to Denver a clean break from Next Tech's Chicago office. Anna heard through a coworker that he and Claire were trying to rebuild, though rumors hinted at strain. She didn't reach out. Closure, she realized, wasn't his to give. Jack, meanwhile, had moved forward. Anna learned through a friend that he'd met someone new, a nurse named Sarah, known for her warmth and quiet strength. They were engaged, with a baby on the way. The news stung, but Anna didn't resent it. Jack deserved happiness, and she'd forfeited her place in his life. Social media glimpses, Jack at a park with Sarah, his smile easy, were bittersweet. They pushed Anna to focus on her own path, to stop looking back. One spring morning, Anna volunteered at a community fair in Grant Park, setting up laptops for a coding workshop. The air buzzed with laughter, kids darting between booths. As she explained a program to a group of teens, she spotted Jack across the field. He was pushing a stroller, Sarah beside him, their toddler giggling as Jack made silly faces. Anna froze, her heart catching. He looked lighter than she'd ever seen him, his life rebuilt on a foundation she'd broken. For a moment, their eyes met. Jack gave a small nod, not cold but distant, a silent acknowledgement of their shared past. Anna returned it, then turned back to her students, her chest tight but steady. That evening, alone on her balcony, Anna reflected. The fair had been a turning point, not because of Jack, but because of what she felt watching him. No anger, no longing, just acceptance. She'd spent years punishing herself, but now she saw her mistakes as part of her story, not its entirety. Therapy had taught her to forgive herself, not by erasing the past, but by building something new. She thought of her nonprofit work, the teens who looked to her for guidance, the life she was shaping one choice at a time. Anna didn't date much. Trust came slowly, and she wasn't ready to risk repeating old patterns. But she was open to life again, friendships, hobbies, moments of joy. She joined a running group, took up pottery, laughed more freely. The guilt still lingered, a quiet scar, but it no longer ruled her. At the fair, seeing Jack's new life, she'd understood. Some doors close forever, but others open when you face the truth. As she watched the Chicago skyline glow against the dusk, Anna felt a quiet peace. Her mistakes had cost her dearly, but they'd also taught her resilience. She wasn't the woman who betrayed Jack, nor the one who'd lost everything. She was someone new, accountable and growing, ready to build a life not defined by regret, but by purpose. The lesson was clear. Redemption wasn't about undoing the past. It was about living with it honestly and moving forward.